Alright folks, everything's on the line here today in the best of 3 between Beastyqt and HuT. The round of 16 for the Red Bull Wololo Road to Wololo tournament for the Red Bull Legacy tournament for AoE 4 for 2022. Bit of a mouthful to say. We've got some titans up here today. We've got Beastyqt, hello gamers, hello world. I'm against HuT, champion of Australia. Got any durries on you, mate? So we got a HRE mirror, blue trunks versus the red trunks. The prelate's going to be busy empowering everything. Waste of XP empowering that fella. Doing nothing. Nah, that's cool. Both our players going to open with a very early dock here. Beastyqt going to chuck his right in the corner, whereas HuT going to leave it as close to his town centre as possible. You know, each of it has its pros and its cons. I mean, sort of remove the likelihood of being proxied in the corner. Like, and it's super easy to keep an eye on this part of your shore. But at the same time, it's a bit harder to actually guard the dock. It could be a bit more susceptible to scout harass or even being seen by a scout a little bit quicker. Because if you put it right in the center, you can potentially sort of miss it here and then just back off and scout somewhere else. So there's pros and cons to where our players have built their docks. Beasty's actually going to have a lot of a short of a trip to his fish here. The next best spot for gathering would be right here for him. Actually, probably be the best. While HuT, it's not as efficient for his fishing ships until he actually, say, puts a dock right here or over here. On top of that, he's going to have to try and either go second dock or go for walls over here. Try and keep an eye on things. He's actually going to bring a villager up to wall this off, and I think he might even use her to trigger and kill some of the deer. Because he's bringing his scout back first. He's going to drop his sheep off and probably pick off this hunt, considering... Actually, sorry. Never mind. For a sec, I thought they might have been playing Rus. Got confused there. I was wondering why he was bringing the villa up. He's just walling everything in, preventing the dock, proxy dock situation. Beasty's not going to have to worry so much about it, considering HuT would have to try and put the dock right next to his. And he's just going to wall off the far side. Not so worried about the center, because it's really hard to try and defend it if it's right next to your opponent's base. But for now, they're just fishing, dude. Trying to empower the vills here as much as possible here as they can. Looks as though HuT's going to empower his gold gatherers, while Beastyqt empowering wood and food for the moment. HuT's got plenty more sheep there, but yeah, he's just empowering those food gatherers. So no one's looking to go for a second dock just yet. But HuT, a bit of wood in the bank. I'm just going to keep adding fishing ships for the moment. So Beastyqt, right now, just empowering that wood line still. Whereas HuT, like I said, has been empowering the gold gatherers. Got 5 on the gold apiece. I mean, HuT could be empowering potentially 10 vills here, because I mean that's what Beastyqt's trying to do. Empowering 8, and he can always run the prelate back slightly, empower 9 and 10. So it's slightly more efficient for him. And saying that, I think HuT hasn't missed a fishing ship, because he's gone for slightly more wood earlier. HuT's going to be Arch and Chapel. Beastyqt's slightly overgathered on gold for the moment. And saying that he'll have a faster warship if he chooses to go for one. Or eco-techs behind this, because probably could go for double broadaxe and forestry in this sort of position. Really just trying to pump fishing ships. Beastyqt going for a topside dock. HuT going for a bottom side one. So players actually getting these on the side that it's easier for their opponents to dock, harder for them to try and secure, but at the same time, looks like Beasty sort of going to be... Oh, he does have the dock up, but he's going to be delayed in trying to wall this off completely. Well, HuT relatively safe at the bottom. HuT's got a few more villagers actually building his chapel for the moment. He's got a second prelate. Beasty has the one for the moment, but it is set to empower everything, whereas HuT kind of needs this second prelate to empower the woodline as well. He is going to throw down that stables a little bit faster than Beasty, but he's gone so heavily on production speed for that arch and chapel. And bearing in mind he is getting a little bit stronger in terms of empowerment out of this. It's covering all 14 villages. Beasty still only one prelate, though he's only going to need one to empower all 22. Here we go, it is going to garrison. Getting slow there, old man. So stables, harass, going to start. Horseman on the way. Second stables for HuT. Beasty for now. I think it might just be heading straight towards Castle Age. Try and get Regnit's Cathedral, secure these relics, and get even further ahead economically. Or get the Burgrave Palace and really try and apply a lot of pressure with plenty of spearmen to counter that horseman, and a bunch of man-at-arms to really sit under town centre fire and make life hell back at home for HuT. So HuT can add another pair of horsemen before he moves out here. A lot more deadly in terms of being able to pick off a scout or try and actually do double-pronged harass in his opponent's base. Gonna try and surround the scout by the looks of things. So Beasty sort of accepting his fate here on this little guy. HuT ready to send everything over. Beasty's got the Regnits heading up straight next to the town centre so he can garrison some villages and leave some left on building ASAP if he has to. Well, it looks like he might possibly lose this dock at the top of the map, while HuT continuing to saturate that water safely at the bottom side of the map. He's going to start trying to wall in the relics slightly. So HuT now is going to instead start focusing on the base of Beasty for the minute, who's forced to garrison everything momentarily. I don't know if he's going to lose any villages here, but it is going to interrupt his gathering for the moment. So he can afford to field a couple of knights. It's really wood he's going to struggle with to get a third stables or a barracks up behind this. The horseman pretty much finished. So HuT really only able to delay that Burgrave, Regnitz slightly. His own, in the meanwhile, is nearly finished up and he has added a couple of stables. So he is up on stables count over Beasty. And I mean, he is going to lose this last horseman, but not before he snipes one last villager. So it's a little bit rough there for Beasty, who's now on 41 and 5. HuT on 40 and 4. So he is actually slightly down in terms of the eco count at the moment. He needs to pick off this wolf. But looks like HuT, with a similar timed Castle Age, because he's interrupted Beastie so much. Wonderful decision, even though it costs him a lot of horsemen. He's able to transition to knights. Both players having such a macro start that food is not really a problem to waste some at this stage of the game, because look, Beasty's got it banked anyway. Well, he's got to try and get as much gold as he can. He probably even needs to try and fit specialized pick in here if he can. But first, actually field enough knights just so that HuT doesn't overwhelm him at this point. As HuT can afford 3, almost 4 stables knight production. He's actually secured 2 of the relics already. Beasty's only just now going to secure 1. In fact, HuT didn't end up needing to wall up this top side relic. He's already there. Over here at the lower side of the map, Beasty is going to find this prelate. So HuT not going to be able to steal the relic, but he's also going to have to send another knight and a prelate to capture the relic. Over here at the top side, HuT going to secure that relic, so he's still up 2-1 in terms of the relics. The central one, the prelate does fall, but it's near a HuT space. He's already got a prelate on the way. So HuT looks to be about to go 4-1 in terms of the relic possession early on here. And they're even in terms of water, but HuT might have an easier time of actually denying an opponent's water here, because he's already up in terms of knights. 48 and 14. Beasty at 51 and 13. So Beasty's got slightly more eco units at the moment. Beasty killing a couple of vills here of HuT's. It's a little slow there on bringing the knights in. But HuT securing his 3rd relic. And 4th. He's actually going to have to try and put one of them into the town center. Oh, sorry, or into a tower. Beasty is going to lose a couple of vills here potentially. Always a little bit slow to try and interrupt HuT's wood eco. Looks like Beasty's going to get control of one of the sacreds. At the same time, HuT is applying a fuckload of pressure. He's got 7 knights in his opponent's base to Beasty's 3. HuT is going to lose a knight villager carelessly there, but it doesn't really matter at this point. He's got 4 knight production. He's up 4-1 in terms of relics. He can ignore that sacred site momentarily because he's applying great pressure to Beasty for the moment, who's finding it hard to gather from anywhere at the moment. He's not even gathering any gold other than what's been trickled in, but he doesn't really need to. He's got a shitload in the bank. HuT has been spending really well, but Beasty has been struggling to produce through this. Now he doesn't really have the wood for spears. HuT careful to not lose anything to conversion there. And it looks like Beasty's unsuccessful at raiding him in the meanwhile, because again HuT does have that 4 stables production now of his opponent's 3 through all this, so he's been pumping out the knights to push, and he's got another wave back at home to defend already. And GG, HuT takes the series. It'll be HuT moving through to the round of 8.